And we can set that angle of those threads to a bunch of different angles if we need to. They do have some standards, of course, that work the best, like 22.5 degrees or 14.5. A real special one is on page 1110, figure 2212, the high point. This one again, I think you can look at the setup on it and understand this is not a big torque situation. Although they can hold a little bit. Now on this one, they've got the high point so that it runs very quietly. The gears match. It's kind of hard to display that in a drawing. You can change the teeth of those, but it's still a high point.
Well, why would you choose to use helical or high point?
The helical is much stronger than a high point because it's a circular deal. It's meant to run real quiet. So in essence, what you want to think about with these gears, I think that's all the gears that they have shown in here. There's certainly going to be some specialty gears. But in essence, if you're looking at a parallel shafting condition, you're either helical or spur gears. Okay, that's kind of the way it works. If you are in an intersecting shaft situation, you're going to a bevel gear. If you need to go 90 degrees or some other angle, then we're looking at worm gears. You can do helical crossed gears also. All right, so that's just some names. Now, as us as drafters, do we get to pick these gears? No, probably not. Not till we get some experience. Once you had some experience, you could do it. Now, don't forget, you can also be using these gears not only on that shape, but thinking the size of them. Am I slowing down? Am I speeding up? So all that stuff goes into it. We'll come back to some of that. I want to do a couple definitions. I don't want to take your whole day up doing this. But let's look at, for now, 4 basic definitions that we need to have to draw a gear. I've got, let's go to figure 2217. When we display gears, and we're going to focus on the spur, since it's our most common one. There's 2 ways to display them. This is what we call a detailed representation, where we do an approximate of the tooth, right here. This way, we'll go through a process on how to approximate this. We have 2 to 3 lines out here. Now, we're going to talk about these lines because they're the ones that we're going to draw off of. Notice one of them is a phantom line, one's a center line. We'll come back to that in a second. Let's see, I want to go to the simplified version and show you the difference. We have another way of displaying gears. This is on page 1116. This is the ANSI standard. The simplified method. Now you have 3 lines on there around the outside of the gear. 2 are phantoms, 1 is a center line. When you look at something like this, that center line is the pitch diameter. The pitch diameter. We're going to come back and define this again tomorrow in more detail, but this is the most important thing you need right here. The pitch diameter is defined as the location that the mating teeth are tangent. location that the mating teeth are tangent. Why is that important? Because that's where all the power gets transmitted through. Okay, it's where the tooth really comes in contact with the mating part. That's the pitch diameter. The outside phantom line, this one right here, is called the, see if I can get this right, addendum diameter. Addendum just means outside. Addendum diameter.
That's the outer one?
Mm-hmm. Could also be called the major diameter. The inside one, addendum diameter, this is the exterior of the tooth, right? The inside one is your dedendum, which means inside, and this is the root of the tooth. So in essence, we do the simplified method. We use 3 circles to represent our major and minor diameters, which with gears we call them addendum, dedendums. And we also show the power circle, or the pitch diameter. Now this then is called out with a note so somebody can build the tooth, or a chart. So those are your 3 important circles. Let's go back to page 111. I want to look at figure 2218. This guy right here. Now we got to make a couple extra circles to build this. So we'll be able to get the pitch diameter, addendum, dedendum. So this is my addendum, that's my dedendum, the center line's my pitch. See this blue one right in here called the base circle? We're going to have to draw that base circle. And the only thing you want to remember with the base circle, it won't be displayed, but we use it as the center of the radius of the tooth profile. So in essence, when you look at the tooth, and we got another figure I'll look at, this tooth is an approximate shape, but there's going to be 2 diameters here, or 2 radii, right there, on the edge of the tooth, to approximate that nice helical surface. As these 2 come together, we're going to use 2 radii. Those radii go to the base circle. One of their points lies on the base circle. You'll see how it works when we start drawing it tomorrow. So the base circle, the line on which the tooth profile is generated. If you turn to page 118, this might be your best one for definitions here. So figure 2228 has your main circles, all the ones we just talked about. If you turn to figure 2230, here you see how the tooth profile is generated using the base circle. And we basically use a chart based on the pressure angle of our tooth. So we've got 14.5 and 20 for this Acme thread. Okay, dedendum diameter, root diameter, bottom of the tooth. The base circle, the line used to approximate the tooth shape. Pit circle, the point at which meeting teeth are tangent. Addendum circle, outside of tooth. When we draw a gear, those 4 circles will in essence allow us to generate the rest of the gear.
And then the base circle is I know which tooth profile is generated.
The base circle. See the 2 radii listed there? Are they showing where the center lies on the base circle? So how you draw them is you're going to find little r, and we'll go through this process starting tomorrow. Okay, we've got a straight little segment here. Starting here, that's going to be little r. It's going to run up till you hit the pitch diameter. And at the pitch diameter, we're going to switch to a big R radius, but they're tangent to the top. So in essence, remember that involute shape where you have a changing radii? That's what an acme tooth is. It's constant helical shape, right? So we're going to approximate it with 2 radii. We're not going to draw the actual shape. It takes too long.
So is the base circle, that's when it starts curving in? Yep.
It's going to be the center. The center of those radiuses will fall on that circle.
How do you spell that?
Involute. I-N-V-O-L, involute. Can you see that in the back?
Kind of. What's the number for the opinion?
Might be worse. Go ahead, okay. Mine's a way more now.
Thank you.
Let's try red. This one seems to still have some ink in it. Can you calculate the gear ratio of this? Okay, please do. What is the gear ratio?
Is that,
So the formula is the number of teeth of the gear divided by the number of teeth of the pinion. What'd you get? So my gear ratio is equal to 2.4. Did everybody get that answer? Juan, did you get that? I'm sorry?
You said the teeth of the gear by...
Divided by the number of teeth of the pinion. So the calculation is right here. So that is equal to 60 divided by 25.
I did 6.24. Sorry, I thought it was a different amount. It's a computer. So you
Should be
just-
2.4 or so.
Oh, yeah, because then divide, yeah. Decimal.
No, there's no decimals.
Well, I did it wrong, yeah, I did 6.
Okay. what's my gear ratio here? One, let me know the answer when you got it. I want to try that here. What's your, let's plug these numbers in. Here's my gear ratio, right? So N sub G is the number of teeth on the gear. What's that? 90, you can't see it. Okay. Number of teeth on the pinion are 15.
So it would be 6.
I don't know, I don't have a calculator. You do. 90 divided by 15,
6.
okay? Y'all understand how to do this process? Do we have to have the number of teeth? Isn't it mating with the gear, so the teeth got to match, right? Okay. Well, what if we said my pinion diameter and gear diameter? If the teeth match and my diameter is changed, then I have to add teeth to one of them or subtract from it? So if I have a diameter of, let's make that, excuse me, let's do a diameter of 1 inch and a diameter of 4 inches on the gear. What's my gear ratio? 4. Don't have to have a number of teeth. You can do it by diameter.
They just have to be the same, right?
What's that?
They just have to be the same, so you can't do like diameter and gears or whatever.
Yeah, the teeth must match, you know? So if I'm doing this guy and I'm doing this one, my teeth have to match up. Okay, well, actually, we're doing 2 spurs here, right? Okay, so we're looking at 2 gears like this. Okay. Teeth have to match up for this to go. So if I change the diameter of one, what do? I'm adding, let's say I make it a big one, like this guy. So I'm going to match this up this way. Well, the teeth got to match. So this has a certain ratio of teeth per diameter. This will have the exact same ratio. I can do it on diameter of the gear. This is the addendum diameter. I can also do it off of RPM, revolutions per minute. If I know one shaft is turning 1,000 RPM, the shaft is connected to is turning 4,000 RPM, what's my gear ratio?
So it's not about the teeth, it's about the size pretty much.
It's, well, they're all interconnected. They're all proportional. So it'd be 4 to 1. Same deal. Just keep in mind that we do need to calculate gear ratio because it's telling us speed. But we can do it off a variety of things because everything's proportional. Got one other thing to hand you out there. Anybody need a break? Way to go.
Let's get it done.
Okay, first off, the first section. I gave you 2 handouts. First one's copied again out of the Gesicki text. And you should have pages 622 through 628, I believe. And you're missing one page, 626, because it didn't have anything interesting on it. Okay, so in essence what this is for, because your book only has how to draw the simplified version. Okay, and we need to use deep detail to show the tooth shape when we do sections and stuff. So right here at the start, shape of the tooth. This is how you draw the tooth for an Acme thread. Okay, so we'll use this example here. If you turn the page, none of these definitions have changed, but I like this Giesecke's chart much better than I like Bertolini's. Although they really have the same information, it's just a little easier to read on where everything's at. So we're going to have quite a few terms you can see up here on this top figure, like working depth circle, base circle we just defined, pressure angle, pitch circle we've defined, addendum, but then we have an addendum, dedendum, circular pitch, thickness, all different kinds of stuff in here that are different components of a tooth. If you would turn to 627. I'm going to give you another resource, but this is almost identical to the project we're going to take on. Now, additionally, so you get an example, because I had to pick just one thing and I wanted to do something that caused you to think a little. So what we're going to do is, in essence, these two things. Okay. That's what we got. So we're going to have a spur gear that has some power. We're going to attach a worm gear to it. As you look at this drawing, here's my spur gear, right here. Here's my worm gear. Okay. Now this worm gear is attached to a shaft. This is all kind of one. Who's got that little silver one that had the helical, looked like a helical gear on it? The little short one, yes, that one. This might be a better example of what that top one is. Okay, this little guy right here. So it's going to mesh in and sit on a shaft just like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw the spur gear with a half section. It's a circular device. The top half will be sectioned. The lower half will use the simplified version of gear representation. Okay, so you're going to do simplified and detailed on the same gear. Up on the worm gear, we are also doing a half section. Okay, so we'll show from here down in section, and then use the detailed thread representation for the top, because it's over an inch diameter. Yes?
Why wouldn't you show detail with detail?
Because we have to deal with, can you see that this is dished?
What's that mean?
Dished. Let me kind of,
It's got
before I leave this, I'll show you the real one. So see how the gear over here on this right side has a little circle? That's what we call dished. If I look at this spur gear, see that little dish? Well, it's right in the center, right? It's the bottom. And that's really what's going to, where the teeth are going to meet. And so we're going to cut a section right there at that lowest part. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Instead of showing on the outside and having a whole bunch of hidden lines, we're just going to cut it right down the middle of that groove. And what that will do, you can kind of see how this one, let me try and hold it this way. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm trying to get something white behind it. Okay, so we have that. And that guy's going to come in right on that dish. And I guess I probably ought to just pass it around. It'd be easier than me trying to show you. But in essence, that's what we're going to do. Okay. So, half section, detailed thread representation, simplified gear representation. Over on the right side, we're going to do a full section again. But this time we're using all simplified thread representation for both the worm and the spur.
Is this the typical way it's done, if you're doing the detail?
Yes, if we have to make a gear, yes. Now, keep in mind, there are companies that do nothing but make gears, right? And they have stamps for them, they have dies for them, make them quickly. We still have to call them out. That's kind of why the industry really, we used to do this detailed look on them all the time, but it switched in the mid-90s, right along with that other stuff, and went to a simplified. You know, we got rid of the schematic for threads, those types of things. Okay,
So
so in
that was,
essence,
wait, another question, Reggie, that said worm and worm gear, you said spur and worm. This one says worm and worm.
this is spur and worm.
This is double thread worm and worm gear.
Well, the worm gear is, I'm not sure which one they're talking, but that's a mistake. It's a spur and a worm.
Okay.
It's a spur and a worm. All right, so this thing here is your example on how to draw and where some of your formula are coming from, because you need some numbers before you draw this. Second handout. This is your next drawing assignment. That's the gear. So you'll want to come through, read all of the basis on it, because there's a lot of information that is written into the text. So you're going to a C sheet, you're doing